Okay, so returning to what we were going over yesterday with streets in perspective. Now, we had gone over 1 point, and we're going to go over 1 point one more time. However, whereas last time we had used a landscape format, for this one we're going to use a portrait format, this one down here. So for this one, our vanishing point is going to be off to our left. And go ahead and create our vectors like so. Remember, there's nothing wrong with adding or subtracting vectors as you go along. Sometimes you need more, sometimes you can do for less. Now, once more, we're going to establish a street. We're going to use these two vectors. Pull this little menu down so you can see fully. These two vectors down here. And we'll use them to establish a sidewalk. Remember that we're using horizontal lines to establish the slabs of our sidewalk here. Like so. Now, before we even get into trying to do any buildings, what are some things on sidewalks that you generally see as you just go about the day? Cracks. What else? Are the sides always so perfectly straight, or is there something there? Like what? Well, think of stuff that's built in. Storm drain. A storm drain is just a nice, thick black line, like so. Now, sometimes they'll have low spaces so you know exactly where it is, but not always. What else might we see? Now, this will not be residential. This is more like a business area. So what might you see on the street? Say, huh? Cars are going to be a different beast to tackle. So some of these things are built into the street, or at least painted on the street. Arrows. Like, say, the kind you might see with a crosswalk. And I'll let those carry across the entire plane. And if we have a crosswalk, that must mean we have the light for it as well. Okay, I think that should be enough to make our street now. So let's talk about the buildings. Now, for an example, let's use, say, downtown Waxahachie. So, unlike with a residential area like we had up here, for, say, more city or more business stuff, there is really no space between the sidewalk and the building. Sidewalks have to be situated right next to them, so there is a pathway as soon as you walk out. So we don't have to worry about lawns or anything like that. So to establish our building here, and because of how we have this set up, we can't include a lot of them here. Let's say some of that is our horizon. And so we've established the shape of our building. So, you have a business, it's on the road, it's on the side of the road. What do you need first? A door. Now, generally, in this situation, a door would be slightly higher than a crosswalk sign, so it'll be about right here. You can't just say, okay, well, there's my door, just put a doorknob, in that case closed. You also need to have your door frame. Now make sure that your door frame does not actually touch the sidewalk, because it would break off into a horizontal. Let me zoom in here. Like so. So you have this little bit of an angle right here. That tells you that we're now going into something. Don't worry about shading anything just yet. We're just getting all the lines down. Now, what generally goes along with that door? Is there normally anything else on the wall, or is this brick? Is there anything else that would go on the wall, or is it just brick there? Windows. People need people to see what's going on inside. Now, it can be one continuous one. It can be split. It's up to you on that case. So let's shorten that just a touch. There we go. Now there's still something else we can have here, because if this is a store, what is it missing that's most important? Pardon? What'd you say? Yeah. Advertising. In which case, the best advertisement would be its name. Give me a store. This is a little too small to be Walmart. Aldi works. just like when we did the project, do not worry if it goes off your picture plan. Now, if you want, you can establish another building back here, but you don't have to do any details with it. It's just a little way to get a little more depth in your picture. Now, once you've done that, you can do some shading. With stuff like glass, I tend to use a hatching method with a little bit of blending. And now, though I can't do much as I can, once you're done, go ahead and erase your vectors. Now, if you want to add a brick is actually quite easy. I'll do this with the little few vectors I have left. The reason I'm not pushing brick so much is because you need a lot of vectors to actually be able to make it work. Or at least for it to be accurate. I'll do some slight brickwork here, not going to do the entire thing. Like so. Now, what is one thing that you can see from this setting here compared to what we did yesterday? Does this seem as wide open as this one here? No. Portrait can be used, but just understand a portrait when trying to do something for landscapes can cause a very tense or closed-in feeling. I'm not saying don't use it, but I'm saying understand that is the feeling you're going up against when you're trying to do something like this. Because especially to just increase that tense feeling, if I said, okay, let me just go ahead and shade the background here, make this more of a nighttime scene, a little bit of nighttime shading, and now what do you feel when you look at this drawing here? Looks kind of creepy. Okay, give you all a couple minutes to catch up on this, and then we'll move into our 2-point. And 2-point, we're still going to keep it to a business-like area. Not going to worry about cities right now. But you are going to see how 2-point can make things look a lot more open. Now for our last part of Streets from Perspective, we're going to be going over 2-point. So like any 2-point, we're going to set up our vanishing points are the opposite ends of our horizon line. We're going to lightly draw our vectors, extending from them. And we're looking to have as many of our vectors intersecting as we can, especially towards the middle. Now, just saying up from now, we are looking at a city street. We will keep it to small cities, so some like, say, downtown Waxahachie. Okay, so I have a feeling if I tasked you with drawing skyscrapers, you might lose your minds. All right, so tomorrow we will work on a city street in a small city. A little bit of homework. Look at pictures of small town, downtown areas, like say where we have here in downtown Waxahachie, or look at a little place called Cold Spring, Texas. Any sort of small town feel that anyone who's actually seen a natural downtown area would laugh at. All right. Have a good day and good luck.